Hello and welcome to the Potty Mouth Preacher, transforming women's minds, bodies, and souls, one trigger at a time. I am Lisa Czak, your host, and on today's episode, I am interviewing my first coach I ever hired besides a personal trainer, Tatiana Amico. And I'm going to read to you her bio so I get it right. Tatiana Amico is an evolution and growth coach for impact makers, best-selling author, podcast host, and mother of 3. She's been coaching for over 9 years and has built 2 successful businesses. She helps women who serve others, like me, amplify their impact through discovering who they really are, their gifts, uniqueness, truth, and to be able to live a life of internal freedom so they can be better leaders, serving their clients, customers, and communities on a whole nother level. So let's get to it, Tatiana Amico. As always, I'm going to help you shift gears because this is something I want you to bring into your life, by the way, right? It's very hard to go from one thing to another without some kind of just breathing in between and centering yourself for the next thing you're about to do. Because you're a wife, you're a mother, you're an employee, you're an employer, you're a boss, you're a student, you're an entrepreneur, you're a coach. Whatever your roles are, right? It's hard sometimes when you get home or you get out of your Zoom calls, right? This happens to me. I get out of my Zoom calls and I'm like, just give me 5 seconds, please, before you bombard me. So this is why I'm having you do this on every episode. So go ahead and close your eyes, and if you're able, not if you're driving, and give me 3 deep cleansing breaths in. And when you blow out, really blow out anything that's inside all that feeling, right? And pretend like your device has a trap door on the back of it, and on the trap door you're throwing out all of your roles and responsibilities that you're happy to play, but sometimes you just want some time for you. Sometimes you just want to be yourself. So closing your eyes and inhaling. On your exhale, you are exhaling out your roles and responsibilities as mom, wife, daughter, niece, cousin, employee, employer, friend, student, coach, entrepreneur. All of the roles and responsibilities that you're happy to play, just leave them outside of this device. You're not going to need them in here for the next 45 minutes or so, okay? And I know you got things weighing heavy on your heart. That's probably why you're listening to me, right? So on your next inhale, exhale out all the doubt, anxiety, fear, overwhelm, feeling burnt out, imposter syndrome, which we're going to talk about today. Any anger you have, any frustration, anything else, any thoughts that you're hanging on to that you know aren't serving you, leave those on the outside of your device. You are not going to need them in here. And with each deep inhale and exhale, just feeling yourself more grounded, your ears coming out of your shoulders coming out of your ears, your jaw unclenching, your hands unclenching, just feeling totally supported. And give me another deep inhale. Exhale out. Slowly open up your eyes, and let's move on to celebrations. Celebrations are those seemingly insignificant steps that you take every single day that maybe you don't even notice because you're so focused on the big picture. I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I'm 20 pounds lighter. I'll be happy when I fit into a bikini again. I'll be happy when I stop fighting with my husband. I'll be happy when my kid stops giving me attitude, right? Instead of living in that space of waking up wanting and pining away, celebrate every step along the way. That's evidence that you are being the woman God created you to be. And I have so many celebrations. One of my celebrations is that it's Tatiana Amico, who I'm having on today, who first introduced me to this concept of celebrating that I now have all my clients do in private sessions and Worthy Woman Healing Group, which is, by the way, already starting. If you want in, go ahead and message me right away so I can get you into Worthy Woman Healing Group. We meet monthly, twice a month, and you sign up for the retreat, you get that for free. So keep that in mind, okay? Anyway, it's now become such a foundation. I do it in Worthy Woman Healing Group. I have you say your celebrations. That's the first thing we focus on, because a lot of times, if you've ever been in therapy or counseling, the first thing they have you do is just dump everything, right? All the negative. Instead of starting there, we start with the actual positive, meaning the evidence that you are actually being the woman God created you to be, the evidence that you are taking steps every single day that are leading you to this bigger vision that you have for yourself. And so Tatiana introduced me to this concept a couple years ago when I first hired her. She was my first business and mindset coach. And like I said, I do it in my own life every day. I end the day with this actually to remind myself. And then I do a weekly check-in also, all the celebrations for each day and then each week. So thank you, Tatiana. I'm celebrating that I actually implemented something that she taught me, right? That at first I was like, what? What are you even talking about? I have nothing to celebrate because I haven't made any money yet as a coach because I hired her as a business coach. And so she's like, what about the fact that you even joined this, right? What about the fact that I even hired her? And so celebrating all those things. So I have people when they sign up for one-on-one coaching, celebrate. How are you going to celebrate that? When you sign up for Worthy Woman Healing and the retreat, how are you going to celebrate that? I'm also celebrating the fact that I now heard the name of her group when I joined it was called Own It. And I now actually own the fact that I'm a healer. I'm no longer afraid to say, I am a healer. I help women heal. And I'm healing all kinds of things all the time, right? In myself and others. So without further ado, let's bring Tatiana Amico on the show today, which, by the way, is a huge celebration for me, right? If you told me 3 years ago when I first hired Tatiana that I'd be having her on my podcast, a podcast called The Potty Mouth Preacher, I would be interviewing her, just talking about how far I've come, it would have blown my mind. I probably wouldn't have believed you because I was deep in imposter syndrome, which we're going to get to. So here we go. Let's go. Tatiana Amico, here we come. All right. So, oh my God, I am bursting with excitement right now. This is a dream come true for me, sitting on here with the first coach I ever hired, right? And I thought I was hiring a business coach. Oh boy. Yeah, she helped me with my business, but she helped me in so many ways I never imagined possible. We're going to get into all of that today. And we're kicking off this healing series. You need to hear this, Tati. It's a healing series, right? And I'm emphasizing that to my viewers so you understand the reason we're kicking it off with Tatiana Amico is because she's the coach that rode my ass like Zorro to get me to own the fact that I am a healer. Because I had imposter syndrome big time. I didn't even know what imposter syndrome was. Drop in comments if you're watching this and you are experiencing imposter syndrome or have ever experienced imposter syndrome. Tell us what that looked like for you. So for me, I came to you, Tati, because you were a friend. Well, let me just tell the backstory real quick. A family friend that I'd known for years, right? Who I've been following on Facebook was just showing up different. And I say different because she just exuded confidence and was just so sure. She was professional, yet real and raw and just compelling to watch. My mom was the one that pointed it out to me. I don't think she would mind me saying her name, Melissa. She said, "What's Melissa doing?" I said, "I don't know, but I'm going to find out." And so I texted her. I said, "What is going on with you? What is all this Facebook posting you're doing?" Right? Like, I just want to jump into every program you're offering. Like, I want to get pregnant again just so you can be my doula. I actually told her that. I did.
I have felt that way about Melissa as well.
Right.
Don't tell my husband.
I'm like, where were you? And she said 2 words to me, Tatiana Amico. What is a Tatiana Amico? What is that? And then she said you were from Buffalo, my homeland. And I thought, oh my God. So then I started stalking you, right? Not really even stalking you. I listened to one video. And as you know, I say you had me at fuck.
Yes.
You used the word fuck. And I said, that's the coach for me. Because I had this vision of business coaches being very stuffy and wearing blazers and telling me that I have to talk like this and wear, look like Hillary Clinton wearing.
Oh God.
And I was blown away. And then we had a call, and the call blew me away too, because I remember in the call, I said, I want to have like a retreat center, and went into my whole thing. I want a healing house, which is interesting that I said that. And I still wasn't owning the fact that I was a healer. And you said to me something I've never heard a coach say before, which was really courageous on your part. You told me to shelve that idea. What kind of coach tells you to shelve an idea, right? And thank God, because I don't know how you knew, 2 weeks later, the whole world shut down. I did not want to do an online business. I was like, I don't want to do online. I don't want to be online. I didn't even want to be in a group. Remember, I thought we were going to do one-on-one. You tell me it's a group. I'm like, oh, I've never had good luck in groups of women, of girls, right? That was all my trauma coming up, which I didn't even know. And so then COVID hit. So anyway, that is how, and I came to you though as a weight loss, personal training coach. And I remember every session you'd kind of I don't want to say dig at me. I don't know what the word is, right? You did it in your Tatiana way. But how did you know? Let's just jump in right there. First of all, why did you even tell me to shelve that idea of having a retreat home?
I will get to that, but I just want to say something really quick with everything that you have been saying. And one of the messages that I love to share with the world is that we will be given what we need, really be given what we need in order to become who we must, in order to do the things that we were put on this earth to do. Lisa obviously needed to hear the things that I said to her, like shelf it. And also she needed to go in and do the healing work on herself with being in a group of women, and just everything that she just said, like she needed to work on all of that stuff in order to become the freaking magical being that she is and that you see right now. So for anyone listening, just know that you are going to be given these opportunities, and you're going to feel the resistance, like Lisa is saying, being able to really lean into that resistance, even when it feels really like, there's power in that. But we do need to get to a place where we can feel safe in doing that. And I'm just going to really toot my own horn here for a second. I am
Please.
really
toot away.
I am so freaking good at creating such a safe place and space for my clients where they will feel safe being able to move through that resistance, and I guide them through that. So huge props for allowing yourself to feel that and to trust in yourself and to trust in me. That is huge for me when women are able to do that, to trust in themselves, but also in me. That gives me all the feels. So back to your question of how I knew, honestly, it was just, when something comes through for you to say to someone. I had the feeling as soon as I started speaking to you, I was like, this woman isn't allowing herself to share with the world what needs to be shared. I just knew. I don't know how to really explain it. It was just in my intuition speaking to me in that way. And also that I know that you were so used to the one-to-one, and that you wanted to reach more women. And I knew that because you had told me about the retreat and things like that. So also, in order to just grow your business, it was, a part of it was to grow your business. How could we move this along a little bit more? And yeah, again, I did not know that COVID was about to go down, but obviously I did know. Like
Mind
I knew
reader.
something, yeah, like I knew something was going to happen, obviously. So, yeah, it was just this, and this happens a lot when I'll have, those complimentary calls to see if my offers or whatever are good for women, and I can tell right away. I can tell within seconds, minutes that there's something else that you're not allowing yourself to bring forth to the world. And that was
Oh my
that for
God,
you.
Tati, I just had this mind-blowing moment when you were talking about how I needed to heal the fact that I was scared to be in a group of girls, right? The mean girls. I just had two of those girls, women that were in that group that I was so afraid of. I just had two of them on the show this week interviewing them.
Mhm.
Like those women that I was so afraid of, now we've become colleagues and friends. It's mind-blowing to me how I never would have, like, I realize now as you're talking to, I never realized this until you said it just now. How could I ever run my own group coaching program unless I'd experienced a group and felt that fear of what if the girls are mean? I honestly thought everyone in that group, they're going to make a shit ton of money, way more than I'm making. They're going to be well spoken. They're going to be all these things better than me. That was my tape that I had. I'll never forget the first call. I was scared to death. I was like shaky. I didn't have any tools either, really, to calm myself down. But you were so good at instantly just making me feel comfortable. Like you create this safe bubble, but you also challenge us inside that bubble. And the
Yeah.
trust factor, like because I had trust issues too, right? Of course, I'm hiring a woman coach and walking into her group. That's like, to me, that was like walking into the belly of the beast.
And again, I just have to give you huge props for doing that and listening to yourself. You listen to that feeling inside that was saying, yes, this is for me. This is where I'm headed. And to do that work that you did on yourself in order to be able to. And 100%, it was funny because I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, right now, I was thinking in order for her to have this group, that she was going to have a group of women, she needed to be able to work on her own stuff because listen, anyone that's listening to this, I guarantee so many people are like shaking their heads like, yes, that's me. I feel that. We are all human. We all experience pretty much the same things. Our past experiences might be different, but the actual like emotions that we have and the fears that we have are very similar to everyone else. So whenever you see anyone out there that looks like they have it all together and everything is great and unicorns and rainbows, you have to know that there's a lot that has happened in the past for them in order to get to where they are now. Like I've even been saying with Lisa and how she got to this place where like now she's interviewing these two women. She's had these groups. She's written a freaking best-selling book. She has this podcast. Like she's doing all these amazing things. And again, it's about, and I told you this even when you were writing your book, and this is what my mentor told me when I wrote mine, is like who you become when you do that because of all the
I
things
hated you for
that come
saying
up.
that. So yeah, Tati, okay. That's so crazy. I gotta tell that real quick. Just how it was like a brief thing. It wasn't even like a big thing. I just said, I'd really like to write a book one day because I saw your journey. Because that's what I love about you in the groups. You share with us shit that you've gone through or that you were even going through. I love that about you. I love it. Like everything I learned by example from you. It's not stuff you ever told me to do. You never said, here's a strategy, Lisa, do this, this, and this, right? You led by example. That's really where I learned it all. But the book thing was crazy because then you said, hey, well, I know this woman that's a writing coach. And then you led me to her. Next thing I know, I'm writing the book. And then it's still in the group with you. Thank God I still had you in that group. And I thought, remember how those times, what am I doing? Because it was scary. The weight loss part of the story, that was easy. But, being groomed by a sexual predator and all of that, right? That whole piece of it is still a piece, Tatiana, that I'm just now starting to own. And because I've been thinking ever since I saw you in Buffalo, Tatiana and I met for the first time in person. It was amazing. But ever since then, I don't know, you're in my head again. Not that you ever left, but you're there again. And I'm like, why am I not owning that part of my story? Right. We saw that movie Sounds of Freedom about sex trafficking and that's what jarred it. I was like, why am I not owning the fact that I was actually afraid to write Portal Tears because you remember he sent people to the house to do God knows what to me. Luckily, we never found out. And that's like a piece. Why am I not owning that? Which is also ironic because the name of Tatiana's group, Own It. Of course, I didn't know I would literally be owning all these things though. When I heard the title, I'm like, oh, that's nice. That's a great name. Oh shit.
That's why I named it that. Because the level of I feel like there really are these levels of vulnerability as you heal parts of you, as you heal these wounds, these experiences that you've had, you're able to become more vulnerable. And that is what happened for you. And I also wanted to say this is that you experienced like legit physical, like potential, but like out of your safe, not feeling safe, like actual physical, something could have happened to you. And that's one thing. A lot of times though, what we do is we create we don't feel safe. I was talking about feeling safe is we just have all of these stories and these past experiences and these past traumas that keep us from feeling safe. And it's not a physical thing. It's kind of like we're doing it to ourselves. You know what I mean? So there's both of those. I just felt like sharing that because you actually experienced something. Yeah. It's like, yeah. And the fact that you were even able to keep going in spite of that is like, holy macaroni, like that's huge. Holy shit.
Oh, that's what I wanted to circle around back to is you saying how you kept saying it's not about the book. It's about who you're going to become writing the book. I don't know why it grated on me every time you said, it's like nails on a chalkboard. And looking back now, I was afraid of who I was going to become. Like I was afraid of speaking my truth, my voice. This is what it was really. I was afraid of owning my story. All of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right?
Yeah. And you probably had to go in and be like, why? Like, why am I afraid of this? Like, what's really there? What's really coming up for me? One of it was this actual physical, somebody coming at you. But then there was, probably like you were saying, rejection from even like people you don't even know. We create all of this stuff, right?
Oh yeah. Like having my personal story out there, that like you helped me. So that changed my life, Tatiana. It changed everything inside of me, owning that, because what I realized, you helped me realize, is I was hustling outside my story for my worth constantly. Right. Once I owned that story, once I wrote that book and put it out there, it was like, okay, this is me, right? Like, this is it. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Go ahead, say what you want. And as you know, I had haters come in, right? Even within the group, like I just had, not within your group, right? She had left the group, but I had people who closest to me, even like my family. I don't even know if I shared that with you. There are some people in my family, like it caused a big riff in my family, me writing that book.
So, and I just want to say again, like you are not alone in this. So many people won't put their magic into the world, won't share their message, won't own who they are because they are so afraid of all of this happening. So again, it is the most important work that we have to do for those of us who know that we are here to share our message, our truth with the world, to be the leaders, to show what's possible, to walk through the fires, to get to the other side and then share that with the world and then guide others through on their own journey. We have to feel safe in sharing that message. What happens? Can I be okay if I lose people?
Yes.
Can I be okay?
I just got chills. I just got the biggest chills by saying that.
It's like, it's actually knowing. Because that's the question. It's like we're not actually asking that question of will I be okay? It's like just so much fear taking over, but it's getting to a place, and I don't do mindset shifts. That's cute. I do like full on embodiment of who you must be in order to do the things, right? So now I'll be okay if I'm rejected. I'll be okay if when people come at me, I'll be okay if, insert all the things that your brain starts telling you, but it's really knowing that I will be okay. That's like one of the biggest things for me. And I think for anyone that is making a decision to be a leader in this world, in this space. So huge. And again, huge props. And I say this at 2:22 my time.
Oh, okay. What do the twos mean? I forget.
I don't even know. It's just the fact.
Yeah. And so one simple little statement that you taught us in Own It is still sits with me all the time. Who do I want to be in this moment? That has changed my life also. It's changed the course of my life, right? From an argument I might get into, with my husband or my daughter, or sitting in traffic, right? Like simple little thing. Like I'm always asking myself that, who do I want to be in this moment? Do I want to be someone who's like, losing her shit, giving my power away, my energy
like most
away?
of the world?
Yeah, exactly. Like that really taught me to pause. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I still have it on a whiteboard on our dining room table. It says, who do I want to be in this moment?
Love that. Can you
So
please
no
take
matter
a picture
what
of
shit
that?
is, you have a real house, you have a husband and kids, right? Things can get ugly. Things can go bad really fast.
I think I need to start asking myself that question more now.
You need to listen to your own advice.
Yes. Weird.
Because it's everything to me. Like, who do I want to be in this moment? The other thing that that's changed my life, and I use it with my own coaching clients now, is you were so big on celebrations. I use it in the podcast too, actually. Like in the podcast, we go through a celebration part, because before I got with you, I was in this mindset of, I can't celebrate until I reach the goal. Till I become a millionaire, right? Simple things. Till I, have, a house and a vacation house paid off, till I have, 1 million clients, whatever. And I was missing I remember you'd always say to us, how are you going to celebrate? And you were very specific. What are you going to do? And it could be buy balloons and flowers. It could just be dance around the house. And we still have Tati moments in our house where we blast music and dance. For no reason, just to celebrate that we're alive and we're okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It completely changed my life. Like I said, it's part of the podcast now.
It's so important because here's science. There's like science behind this. I am not a scientist. I'm not like a neuro whatever person, but there is science behind this, and there's books on this that you can read written by scientists. They might be really boring though. Anyway,
much more boring than you, I can tell you that.
That's why I'm just like, this is how I'm going to say it. So every time that we make a move in the direction of like our desires, right? Like that's the most important piece to everything, is like having those visions and really your desires, owning your desires. What are they? And most women, or people, I'm not going to say just women, can't even own their true desires because they've been so blocked and clouded by what society has told them they should want, et cetera, et cetera. I could talk about that all day long. But anyway, it's like every time that you do make even the tiniest move towards that, own it, anchor it in, and anchoring it in. Yeah, own it and anchor it in and celebrate that. Because when you do that, you're going to be telling your brain, hey, look what we did. And we're safe in this. We did something. Look what I can do. Look, I did it. Okay, now guess what? I can make another move. I can make another move. I could do it. So every time that you do that. And then also, sometimes we place a lot of expectations on ourselves of what success is supposed to be. The $1 million, right? F that. Like, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel instead? Like, what do you really want? But also take moments, you could do this every night if you want, but at some point, like within the week, take a look back and who have you become? What have you overcome? What lessons have you learned? Even though I'm all about quote unquote failures. I'm all about mistakes. I'm all about it, because if we decide that those get to be lessons instead of the failures and the mistakes, like it changes everything. And celebrate that, right?
I remember you saying that. Celebrate that. Celebrate that you fucked up royally.
Oh,
You learned so many lessons in that. I remember you saying that to me. And the Facebook memory, you were the first one to tell me, post for yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
So you can look back. I was just talking to Melissa. How do you say her last name? Mejia. We were just talking about that, how we both learned that in your group. She just did this whole thing where, this reel that she did. Anyway, that's on another episode. But just this idea of posting for yourself first so you can look back to see how far you've come. And you know what? I just realized, Tatiana, just talking to you, I never wanted to look back. I was too afraid to look back there. It was too scary.
I feel you. I feel you. Now I have I'm so happy that you said that. So happy, because oftentimes, like, even me, I can say these things, but I'm not thinking, that could actually not be easy for somebody. That could feel really scary. So I'm so happy that you said that, because now even for me, I'm like, take this in right now so that we can ensure, whenever as a coach, when we are telling people to, do something, we don't realize, like, wow, this can actually be really scary for them to do, even though we're at this point where it's like easy. Like, celebrating yourself was very, very hard for me before. And I understand that it could be very hard for others. And I've had many clients where I had to help them get to a place where they could celebrate themselves first alone and then publicly. Like, that was a whole other level to take it public, right? But now effortlessly sharing all the things and celebrating all the things. So like, that's where we want to get to, is things that are like, you feel resistance, but like, there's a part of you that, like, you really want to do it. You know what I mean? That's what you want to look at. That fear, things that we're like really afraid of, and we're feeling that fear, is often telling us, like, hey, there's something to look into here. There's a desire here that you want, like, you're really wanting. So let's work on that shit and make some moves.
It's that fear. It's like, it's a different kind of fear than fear. You know what I mean? I know what you're talking about. Do you remember the first time you coached the hell out of me just to get me to say my offer? Like, own the fact that I have a coaching business, right? Do you remember that though?
I remember.
And I did a live, and then we got on the coaching call, and you said, Lisa, that was a very powerful live you did. It was amazing. All the feels. It wasn't an offer though. You didn't mention your offer. I said, yes, I did. I did, didn't I? No, you didn't. You made me do it again. And I thought, I didn't, did I? And I remember my heart would start racing. I get like a lump in my throat on the live as I was about to say whatever it is. I think I was offering Babes, my first coaching. Oh, but I didn't call it Babes. I called it like Coaching with Lisa or something. And can we get a different name for it? I just love the way you approach that though, because it's so true. You said, if you can't own your offer, who's going to buy from you? Yeah. And you also told me when we first started, you said, when I look at your social media, you just look like a really fun person to be around, right? But it's not clear that you're a business, that you offer services. I was like, that feeling like, you do what? You have to like go out and admit that this is a business I'm running.
I just love you so much, because you are just this perfect example of, all really needing, and I say this with love, but like really needing to work on all of these things in order to build what you have built. And that I'm getting all the memories coming back, because I kind of, now that I see you who you are, I'm like, what? But now it's all coming back. You're right. Like, she wouldn't put her, she like, it was hard for her to actually ask people for money. Like, it was all of this stuff. And again, so many people, it's like, it sounds so nice and so shiny when, people are talking about their business and like, build a business. There's so much, it's an inner game. Like, that's what I'm calling myself now, is an inner game guide, because
oh wait, is that the new
oh yeah, it changes every 5 seconds, but like it's all such an inner game, and the strategies are easy, and guess what, you guys, you could Google that shit all day long. It's all out there. But to have someone to come in and help you and guide you and coach you through all of this stuff, woo, whether it is with weight loss, whether it is with a relationship, whether it is with business, whether it is, anything in life is magic. Like, that's why I have help throughout all of this stuff. If again, that you don't just want to settle, you don't just want mediocrity, that you're capable of so much more, you have this, just all this magic and stuff, cool stuff inside of you. There are people out there to help you bring that out,
Yeah, exactly. I moved much quicker once I hired you and became part of your I moved much quicker. And then the magic of being in a group with other women who are doing the same thing and having the same fears as I was having, or maybe they were a little further along than I was, like they already knew how. So I would watch their stuff and learn from them. That was really the magical part of it, is having this group of women who I was afraid of, right, in the beginning, and end up being like, wow, you feel like that too? I remember feeling like that on your calls. So, one woman would say, I feel, what you feel like that too? I thought I was the only one. And you never used the word imposter syndrome. I was watching something else. I remember what it was, and the woman used that term, and I thought to myself, no, that's Tatiana's thing. She stole that from Tatiana. Because you never used that. And then I think I asked you about it. What is this imposter syndrome? But I love that about you, right? It's not like you weren't stuck on terms or labels or the bright, shiny objects. You talk about that too, right?
Yeah.
Like, we know there's coaches out there that have all these bright, shiny things. And sometimes people can get addicted to coaching, right? Oh, I want that, what she has. I want what they have. And you just showed us, like I said, by being who you are, by leading by example, but saying it in a way that related to us. Like, you didn't look at me and say, Lisa, you have imposter syndrome.
Right.
You basically said, why aren't you owning the fact you're a healer? That's what she said, which is much better, right?
Yeah, because then we get down to what's going on, to what's really there to help you bust through that shit.
Yeah, I absolutely love that about you. I mean, that's why I have an entire chapter in my book called Tatiana. That's the impact that you had on me.
I just had a memory come up of when your book came out, and I was reading that, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is even happening right now? This is so cool. I talk a lot about having soul aligned clients, and I mean, Lisa is just this perfect freaking example. And then it came to full on whoa, when she came to Buffalo, I was like, yep.
Right. I mean, our entrance, when you came in the restaurant and I saw you, I was like, oh.
and share about that for a second, because remember, you told me that, there was a lot that would have come up around that, of even kind of making a quote unquote scene when I walked in, right? I think you need to hear that.
Oh yeah, because growing up, see, I always thought I was shy. And when I realized I wasn't shy, I was oppressed, right? It was repressed, oppressed. What's the, whatever. I wasn't
repressed.
I wasn't allowed to be who I really am, right? Because I would hear things like, I'm boisterous, I'm loud, shh, people are listening, right? People can hear you. That was a big one. People can hear you. So what's the message I got? Don't speak. Don't get too excited, because I'm still like that. Well, you saw by the entrance, right? Yeah. So the fact that I could, in public, I'm already sitting, Tatiana walks in, run up to her, sprint up to her, give her a giant hug, and just be all in the feels, right? Not giving one crap about what anybody in that moment, Tatiana, it might as well just been me and you. When we were hugging each other, I felt it. I just felt every cell in my body, who you are, your essence. That's why I think it's important too, you can meet. That's why I have retreats, so people can meet in person, because it's weird when you see somebody online all the time, it's one energy, but in person, and when everything that you had helped me through, I bared my soul to you, right? And then to see you in person and be able to touch, the physical hugging is I'm a big hugger.
Yeah.
That was just everything to me. And not caring though, not giving a crap what anybody around us thought. That was huge, huge growth for me. And I credit that to you and that group I was in and your coaching. Because you would not, like I said, you rode my ass like Zorro. You will be.
I'm
You
totally
will
gonna
be.
be Zorro. I'm gonna be Zorro for Halloween now.
It's true. It's like, no, speak your truth, be who you are, own it, own
Yeah.
it, own it, own it. And
Right.
up until that point, I was not owning anything in my life until I met you.
I love that. Thank you. You rock. You like, I just want to keep saying this. Yes, I'm amazing. But Lisa did like she showed the fuck up and she did the work. She did the work. A couple things I want to say with that story that you just shared. One, we can heal in moments that like you don't even realize. Like just
True.
in her allowing herself to come up and hug me and be loud and be seen and be heard and all of that. That was a healing moment. That was a healing moment. So we can be healing and like it anytime, like all the time, right? So just as an FYI. The other thing I wanted to say, shit, I forgot what it was. Oh my gosh. Oh, so often, there's things that how we are in a certain part of our lives, right? Whether it's in our relationships or it could be in our health or whatever, everything's so connected. So if we're being affected, like if we're not allowing ourselves to be heard in, like you said, in family functions or so, you didn't really say that, but like wherever you were told to like not
in
be so
public.
loud. In public or whatever, that will affect your business. That will affect so many women. So many people aren't going to do the podcast. They're not going to do the live videos. They're not going to share their actual message. They're not going to write the book because they were told this in that other area of their lives. So like how we are and who we are in one area affects everything else. So that's why the work that I do is everything. And I'll spot that in my clients. It's like, oh, there's something going on here with you and your husband. Okay, we got to work on that because that's affecting your business. That's affecting how you're showing up. That shit happens all the time with partners,
yeah,
right?
you watched me go through that. I mean, that's all over the book too, right? Major marriage issues happening there.
Yeah.
And I remember because it was financial issues too. And do you remember that one call when I said, I don't have access, or I didn't have access. Now I have access to the savings account. And I was so scared that he had taken money from it, even though he promised he wouldn't. And on the call, you were like, go in there now while we're on the call and see. Do you remember that?
Give myself a pat on the back.
Talk about scary, right? And vulnerable. But also in that moment, I felt like you were holding my hand through it. You were sitting with me, holding my hand, saying, I've got you, we've got you as a group. Like, don't do this alone. You don't have to do this alone. And that was so powerful for me, especially for me. That was when the real healing happened of not being afraid to be in a group of girls anymore. I don't know if I ever told you that, but that moment for me, I have chills saying it again, was when I truly healed that. Like that's gone now. It's gone, Tati. It is gone because of what you did in that moment.
Man, I can't even take this right now. This is like the best. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. Like, thank you so much. Again, it's like it's what's coming through right now is like, again, being open to these experiences that you have because of the healing that happens in those moments that you don't even expect. Like, that's one of my biggest things is like, let go of how it should be and how it should look and just be open to really truly experiencing life and like being in it all and the lessons that you're going to gain through that and the healing that's going to happen and all that magic that happens in that too.
Let go of the should.
Let go of the shoulds.
No
Let
more
go of the
shoulding on
shoulds. No
yourself.
more shoulding on yourself. No more
Because I know I
shoulding.
was big on that. I should be doing this. Well, I think any entrepreneur watching this, right? Drop in comments if this is you. You lay awake at night. Oh, I should have posted more. I shouldn't have posted that. I should be doing this. It's like our brains. So you really helped me with that too. I remember one time you told me, stop doing everything related to your business. Go out and live. Go out and have fun. Because I wasn't going to go to some friend's function or something. And you said, are you crazy? You're not going to go so you can sit home and rack your brain about what to post on social media. And then I went, and I'm sure I had a lot of stuff that I posted after that because it cleared up space.
Yeah. And the thing is that, and I see this a lot, and I've been here. So when I say, I just want to say something else before I get into this, because it came up when you were talking. A really good leader isn't ahead of anybody. A really good leader is holding their fucking hand right through it. Like when
Wait
you said,
I think I just had an orgasm, a soulgasm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Say that again. I want people to really hear that.
Yeah. A true leader. What I believe is a leader is not someone that's like on a pedestal, right? Or like ahead of being all ahead of anybody. It's, I'm right there with you, like holding your hand as we go through. And I'm going to say it again, like as we walk through those fires, like I'm right here with you walking through the fire.
Yeah. That's what you did for me in that moment with my husband and the bank account, but through the whole book experience.
Yeah.
And that was just writing the book. I had a lot of stuff happen, and you were right. Who do you want to become?
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there that aren't with their clients or with their people. They're like,
you are absolutely right. You're up here and they're down. They think they're up here and you get that feeling. Like I never got that feeling with you. Right. I definitely saw you as a leader. I definitely respected you. I still do, of course, as a leader, never feeling though, like you were giving off this vibe of I'm up here. Don't you want to be where I am? Yeah, exactly.
Throw up emoji, right?
I mean,
but
who wants that? I don't want that.
Yeah. What were we saying though before I said that? Now I forget. I forget what it was. See, this is me. I'm like,
I know. Both of us. That's what Eliana said. Eliana says hello, by the way. Yeah. She goes, oh boy, you and Tatiana, squirrel. She goes, but it's so fascinating to watch. Well, that was the other funny thing when we were together that night. You just can't help but just coach me.
I know.
Because you said, oh, someone, I think Eliana or someone, my dad said, are they coaching each other? And you said, no, you'll know when I'm coaching you. And that is so true. That is so true. But in your loving way.
Yeah. And you're available for it. So that's why.
I'm like, all right, bring it on.
I just want to say something, when you were saying how we're like squirrel. And, everyone is so different. Everyone is so different. And again, you even said that like with business, you thought that you had to be like this certain way. And thank goodness this is coming to light more, but we are all very different. All our brains work very differently. Just who we are and our unique brilliance, as I like to say often, is like, and it really is just going to be about owning that and owning that you are not like everyone else and you don't do things the same as everyone else.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Thank God. Praise Jesus for that.
Praise Jesus.
What a boring world it would be.
Right. But the power is out there. Try and get everyone to be a certain way. Right. And that's where I talk a lot about the, not shooting on yourself and like really getting clear on your desires and who you are. A big thing for me is like remembering who the fuck you are. Right. Letting go of what you've been conditioned to be and do, and all the programming that is everywhere, by the way, trying to take away your power. So I just had to share that because I'll own my squirrel brain all day long.
Right. The conditioning, the programming, especially for women. Right. Yeah. And one thing I loved about you too, is you would always say, how do you want to feel? Like it was always about like the feeling, right? I was stuck for a while and I want to have a $10,000 a month. I want to have a $10,000 a month. And I remember you said, well, it might not come next month. Like, you don't need to put a date on it, and it's going to come when it's going to come. But more importantly, why? What are you telling yourself? Like, are you getting some kind of programming saying I'm not a success in my business unless I make 10 grand this every month? And then you said, I remember this, you said, no, be careful that you're not saying I want to make $10,000 in a month. And then that's all you make, right? What if God wants to give you $100,000 that month? You would always like say that, like, keep yourself open and open to all sources. I remember you'd say, what if it's not from your business though? What if it's from somewhere else? Mm-hmm. That was huge for me. And then having gratitude, you'd always say, if you find a penny or something, have gratitude. Say, thank you, God, for just throwing money down to me.
Heck yeah. It's so fun. I just have to share this story because I obviously like the things that I share with the adults, I share with my children and for their
I love that.
Children brains. But like, I remember one time we were at the grocery store, and I don't remember who it was, Mateo or Aria, but they found a penny or a dime or something. And there was like a massive celebration in the aisle of Wegmans. Like, actually it was right by the cash register. I was like, yes, these are my children. Yes, we're celebrating like crazy, like this dime on the ground, because like, that's it, right?
Yeah, that's what I do now. I've taught Eliana to do it also. Not just, it's just a penny. That's a penny. Right? Yeah. If God wants to throw money at you, let him throw money at you. And the whole thing about the $10,000 thing, then I remember when I got I made $10,000 really in 2 hours because I signed up 2 clients and they paid $5,000 each. And I was like, Tatiana was right, but it was even better, right? It wasn't even it was like in 2 hours that was possible. And I credit all the inner work that I did to get there, right?
Yes. And because that's what I wanted to say. It wasn't just like all of a sudden, it was like she came into the group and like the next day we did a lot of freaking work. She did a lot of work in that inner game work. She did a lot of it to then get there, because there's a big misconception out there. There's a lot of people that will put all their shiny shit out there that makes it seem like this stuff can just happen, boom, which it can, but for others who it can take a longer amount of time, then start to feel like, what's wrong with me? Why isn't this happening? Blah, 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 which like takes you out of the energy of all of the good shit happening. So it's just knowing we are all different. We are all like in our own, wherever we are, our timing and all of that. But I do also want to say, and Lisa said this before too, when you get the help from people that can help you get through it and to work on what you need to work on in order for all of this to happen, it does happen faster.
That's so true. And I will say, I was glad I had you too, because then I panicked, right? I made $10,000 in 2 hours. And then I was like, what if I can't do it again? What if I never make another penny the rest of my life? What if this is it? So that, like, you think, once I reach for me, it was $10,000, right? I wanted to make it in a month, made it in that 2 hours. And then you'd think I'd be like, everything's peaceful and perfect in my life. No, it's a whole nother level of mindfuckery that happened after that you had to help me through.
Your nervous system was like,
and you said, if you put pressure on yourself, you are going to repel clients away. You are going to be a client repellent. You said that to me once. I don't know if you remember that. I was like, I am? You're like, yeah, they can sense that. Just in your posts and stuff, if you're in this, I gotta do it again feeling.
Yeah, our presence is very important, and our presence is our energy. And I say this often too, is I can post something today that I posted years ago and it will hit so different, because I am a very different person now than I was back then. I grow. I'm like, I am constantly growing. Like I last week, who was that? Like,
You
know what I mean?
I just saw you 2 weeks ago. You're already a different person than you were 2 weeks ago.
Because I've lived and I've had many experiences. And every day I'm like, ooh, bring it. Like what is going to go down today? What experiences am I going to have today? What do I like? How do I get to live today? What gets it? And I'm not talking like I like am going to like Bali or something. Like people think you need to do that shit. It's like, no, just in my home, stepping outside, going to a boxing class. Like what happens there is always awesome. You know, just the things that are going down with my kids, and we are all in different stages of our lives right now. I have my 3 children and one of them is like really kind of kicking my booty, and I'm learning patience and all of this stuff. So like we're all in just a very, you know, very different places. And what can I experience? What can I learn? How can I grow? That's what we're here to do. That's our purpose, is to continue to grow and to evolve. And I'm just down to be a really great freaking human and to grow and develop really great humans so that this world becomes better. So I'm all about ripple effect, making some waves. And that's why I do what I do with my clients, because the more people we have out there doing good in this world and showing how it gets to be, I mean, that's what I'm here for.
I love that. And your kids they're listening to what you're doing, not even saying, right?
Yeah.
And so I met her kids, you guys. Oh my God. These children are a completely different level because of the way you parent them and the way, the message that they get from you. It's completely different. You did a post about one of your daughters. I don't remember which one, that she was having a meltdown, and you allowed her to really feel what she was feeling. That blew my mind when I read that post.
That's hard too.
It's so hard as a parent.
Yeah. It was hard. So I just have to say that.
But honoring her, like allowing her to honor her feelings and express them, that's like huge for her.
Huge. I didn't really have that growing up, because again, it was very like, I don't want her freaking out. It's either I don't want her freaking out. Like, I don't want my kid to feel bad, or it's the stop it right now. Like, you shouldn't be acting that way. I could get on a whole rant about that. That's a whole other podcast episode.
Love you back for that one.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's end with, if you had, I have so many of your nuggets that I could share with people, right? I've already told you some of the things that I find most valuable that I learned from you in your coaching group, and just having you in my life, just from your posts, even just, your social media. But if you had to pick one, if there's a woman out there, which we know there is, who's not owning, who knows she's not really owning who she really is and what she's here to do in life, what's the first step that she can take to owning that?
So it's simple, but it's not easy. Are you ready for it? You just have to start getting curious. Right? It's simple, but it's not easy. So it is just going to be asking that question of like, why am I not? Like, what's really going on here? What do I need to see? What do I need to hear? Like, what do I need in order for me to own it, in order for me to bring that out? And so again, it's just going to be asking those questions, those kinds of questions, but the answer might not come right away. So can I be okay with the answer not coming right away? And it could show up, just be open. So it's that curiosity and that openness. And it could come in a way that is very unexpected. It could not be, try not to force an answer, right? And just be really open. It could be anything that shows up for you. But again, that curiosity is huge, right? I call awareness. It's in line with awareness, like the queen bee, like awareness, because that's really where we begin. Because then that takes us to the next levels, which is like going there and doing the inner game work. Like that Lisa has done, and she helps her clients with too, in order to get to where you want it, in order to be able to own what it is that you were put on this earth to do. And it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be like building a business but writing a book and a podcast, which mad props, like that's amazing. But I mean, it could be in your household. I just want to say this really quick. Like I had a client that came to me, she's like, she has a business doing all this stuff, but where she really wanted to own who she was and all that was in her home. She wanted to be such a better person and leader in her home. And of course, that changed everything outside of her home. So just know that, just like for it's in any place. It could be in your job, it could be in your home, it could be in your health, it could be with anything, but just that getting curious around it first.
I love
really
that. I know that I'm a walking, talking billboard for you, Tatiana.
You
I know
are.
that advice worked for me. And so I can't tell you guys enough. If you need an inner game coach, hire Tatiana. And how would you like them to get in touch with you if they'd like to hire you or have a consult with you? What would you like them?
So my website is tatianaamico.com. And then my email, you could email me at tatiana.amico@gmail.com, and I'm actually all about this even more, is on Instagram. I'm at Tatiana Amico. Just send me a DM. There's a vibe. There's a difference in energy around like a Instagram DM or a Facebook DM versus an email.
That's true. That is true.
So, or Facebook, I'm at Tatiana Amico. And really quick, I do have a podcast. Can you guess? Any guesses on what the name of the podcast is? It's Own It with Tatiana Amico. And I literally take you through everything. And also on my website, tatianaamico.com, I do share my process of like really doing this deeper work. So I gave you the first step. And then in that, it's how to access your authentic power, which I'm all about. That's a complimentary course on my site too.
Yeah. So go binge watch her like I did. I was even watching you during my colonoscopy prep.
Oh my God.
I did a coaching call while I was on the toilet.
I've had clients, you did that. I had another client, she was in the hospital. Like
I remember that.
When I say my clients show the fuck up, like they show up.
I'm literally on the toilet shitting my brains out, prepping for colonoscopy, and I'm on the call. But hey, that's what you do. You help me get rid of shit anyways. So I figured the theme is a good theme.
I do use shit as an analogy quite often.
You do.
So I mean, obviously, perfect.
Okay, thanks again, Tatiana, for being on. I love you so much.
I love you.